Hey, what's happening? It's your host Tinto, and before we get started on this weekend's episode, I'd like to give a shout to everybody that got me coffees, starting with you, melanated Laura. Thank you once again for coming through for me. You've come through more than one way, and your comment there reads, coffee to support the podcast so we have grown to love. Thank you. And then Rumbi, where my logs? Hey, this is my big sis, y'all. Hey, she came through strong, fam. And just saying, Tinto, little bro, thank you for keeping my weekends entertained. I swear I get withdrawals when no episode drops. Keep doing the things, bro. Rumbi, I appreciate you to the moon and back. Thank you so much. Tino, another gracious contribution. Thank you. And your comment there reads, please, Tindo, please keep them coming. A whooping 130 episodes of indulgence. Hey, Tino, I'll do my best. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I almost feel like saying cut the music here. Colleen, I have nothing more to say. You came through strong. Ladies and gentlemen, Colleen came through with 50 coffees. And her comment there reads, this says, especially for your right-hand man, your son, for the contribution to the family jingle. I started listening to episodes 101 till 125 just 2 months ago. Then I just had to go back to episode 1 and just finish episode 100 tonight. That 5-part series was emotional. Anyway, I guess you can share this with your right-hand man as Tinto. You are just incredible at what you do. Incredible host. Keep it up. Man, Colleen, I am absolutely speechless. And by the way, this contribution that you've given to little man, I'm definitely going to hand it all to him. And guess what? He is actually part of the midweek drop jingle that we are doing. And I might just sample it for you guys. Okay, check it out. It's still getting mixed, so don't say, hey, it's sounding dodgy. It's still in the works, but here's a sample.
This is my song, this is my jam.
It's the midweek drop, yeah.
This is my song, this is my jam.
It's the midweek drop, yeah.
This is my song, this is my jam. 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 Song.
Hey, yo, you guys don't know what my son's gonna be like when he grows. He's gonna kill that music scene. And then next up, last but not least, we got Tiki Today Bogus coming through once again with the standard incredible number of coffees. And your comment there reads, here for the midweek drop. Hey, if you'd like to support the podcast in a similar way, head over to www.buymeacoffee.com/feeling station and give as your spirit leads. Remember, nothing is too small to support the podcast that you have grown to love. With that out of the way, let's get straight into this weekend's episode. And boy, do I have a surprise for you, or what?
Is that a breakup? I think we have a situation right here.
On Feeling Station.
Okay, hi Tinto.
I don't even know why I'm laughing. Honestly, I don't know why I'm laughing. But hello, Nat. Should I call you Nat? Am I okay to call you Nat?
Yes,
Okay.
you can call me Nat.
Yes,
you can call me Nat.
What's up?
I'm good. I don't even know why you were laughing, Tinto. Honestly, I'm trying to, bring my best, presenting voice and everything, and you are laughing at me.
I can't help myself. Do you know, somebody sent me a text just this morning. Shout out my friend Zadzi in the US. And she goes, Tinto Shy, your laugh, fam. You need to calm it down. And I'm like, I can't help it sometimes. Sometimes people say the most random stuff that just send me off. And I don't know why I got sent off just now when you said, what's up, Tinto?
I don't know why. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Feeling Station. You haven't pressed the wrong show. You are listening to the Feeling Station.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to have some fun today. But I'll give a little bit of context, right, before I get into it. So on the 9th of May, 2022.
Who is keeping track? What the hell? Okay,
You need to let me land, right?
Go for it.
So I know you've got your thousands of listeners, and some people know that the Feeling Station is on social media, right?
Yes.
But I know that not everyone who listens, follows you on social media. So on the 8th of May, this is where the story started. The Feeling Station Twitter account tweeted out, "My ex just found me on eBay and sent a message to ask when she can come onto the podcast to talk about our breakup. And the hour was in caps, right? I mean, obviously, Twitter was like, hold up. First of all, we have not heard of eBay since 2010. Who messages on eBay? There were so many questions, right? And then a follow-up, right? The next day, because this was a developing story. Ladies and gentlemen, right?
Yeah.
So on the 9th of May, the same account, the Feeling Station account, then tweeted out and said, so, update, because people were like, okay, this needs to come on the Feeling Station, right?
Yeah.
Because what is going on, right? So the account tweeted out and said, so update on eBay episode, right? And it's eBay, which is BAE. I thought that was very clever. I responded to her and am waiting for her to reply. I'll do the episode if she's still up for it. I obviously can't be the host. So please help me with two things.
Oh, no.
First, find a host.
Oh, no.
Secondly, recommend this person to at least one other person. And people were like, we've been recommending this podcast. That is done. And, some people tagged me, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Natasha. My friends call me Nat. And I felt it in my innings.
I should have known I was falling into this trap.
In my spirit, I said, you know what? I think I was born for a time like this.
Oh my goodness. I didn't see this coming.
I feel like I was born for a time like this, right? Because Tinto has a story to tell, right? And then, ladies and gentlemen, I will say Tinto has shared here and there, and shout out to 6 Foot Weights, which is another podcast, where Tinto has kind of talked about it. But I thought, you know what, Tinto is being clever. Tinto is being clever because not everyone who listens to the Feeling Station listens to the other podcasts, right? So
wow,
you are not getting away.
I should have said, I have to give it to you, Nat. I did not see this coming at all.
Yeah?
Right? Well done. High five that. Honestly.
Okay, high five.
No. You're okay. No, you got me good. Because look, you're going back to May. Right? This is what? June, July, August, September, October. It's almost 6 months down the line.
Yeah?
Right? It's 5. This is the end of October.
Yes. You've been a busy man.
Yeah, there's no way I was going to be thinking about eBay or thinking about the people who recommended you to come and do it.
I wanted the story to marinate. I wanted it to marinate. I've been listening. I was watching the tweets. I listened to 6 Foot Weights. I said, what? Let's let this, like a good steak. Let's let this marinate, right?
Okay.
So, what we're going to do this episode is Tinto is going to be on the hot seat.
Mad.
Tinto, is it on or in the hot seat?
Whatever it is.
What is the English?
I'm feeling the heat. I'm feeling the heat right now.
So for a part of the show, and then we'll have fun.
Okay.
So before I start, so for those of you listening to the podcast for the first time, this is a romantic, family, and friendship breakup podcast, showcasing stories that people would like to talk about with a view to give lessons from their experiences. The podcast is popular for 2 main reasons. The first one being we try to keep our guests anonymous.
Oh my God.
So, in this particular episode, Tinto is our guest. So, Tinto,
yes,
this is where the fun part comes, where I give you a name that you're going to use for this part of the episode, right? Are you ready for that?
Okay, yeah, let's have it.
So, the name that I've come up with is a name from the Gambia.
Okay.
Called Lamin.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Is that Lamin?
Yes,
okay,
yes. And it means the trustworthy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah? So will you remember that?
Absolutely.
Lamin, the trustworthy, right?
Awesome.
Okay. And do you want to give, eBay a name?
I'm just gonna stick with eBay
Okay.
because it's relatable for a lot of people and for a lot of reasons. I'll stick with eBay.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. So this is a story about Lamin and eBay,
Yeah.
right? And the second reason why this podcast, The Feeling Station, is popular is because these are real life lessons. So, Lamin,
I can't believe we're really doing this, but yes, okay, fine.
so what lessons would you like people to learn from Lamin and eBay's story?
The thing that comes to mind is once a liar, always a liar.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And best believe it. For me, I discovered that this particular individual was not only a liar, but a pathological liar. It was second nature to lie. And she'd got so good at it, I could never tell the difference between the truth and the lie.
Okay.
Until the end came.
Yeah.
So my lesson is for people out there, if somebody lies to you once a liar, they are always a liar. Unless something happens that involves some radical transformation from Jesus Christ. But Christ didn't come through for me on this one. So my lesson remains once a liar, always a liar.
Okay. Is there another lesson?
Nah, that's it. Because it was consistent throughout the whole relationship.
Okay. So main lesson, once a liar, always a liar. So we'll pin that and we'll come back to it. So Tindo, how did we end up with someone messaging you on eBay?
So we ended up with someone messaging you on eBay because I assume she has listened to a number of the episodes and she's felt there's some things that she wants to talk about. The challenge with eBay is that whatever she needs to speak about will incriminate her further. Which is what I think explains the sudden silence when I said, okay, come, let's do this. I'm okay to talk about this openly. And then she's vanished into thin air. So I suspect it's got to do with the fear of being further exposed because a lot of the things that she said, not only to me, but a lot of people around me and around her were all lies. So they say that the truth sets you free and that the truth is very hard, but also the revelation of a lie is equally as difficult and painful.
Okay.
So that's how we ended up with the whole eBay thing. And up until this date, I've not had a response since May.
Since May.
Yeah,
Okay.
since saying, okay, come, let's talk about it openly. It hasn't happened.
Yeah. Okay. So one of my questions was going to be, who hurt you, Tindo? But I think the heavy artillery language you're using, it's clear that eBay is...
No, absolutely. eBay, I think, surrounded by a lot of things that were happening in my personal life at the time, just accentuated how bad a choice that was for me from day one. But the interesting thing is, and this is why I always like people when they talk about their gut and their instinct, from day one, something just felt a bit fishy about eBay, but I couldn't put a finger on it because at the time I was relatively new to the country, relatively new to the kind of women in the UK who were radically different to the women I'd been exposed to in Zim and further still who I'd been exposed to in Solusi, which is a really sheltered place in Zim.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to understand them in the way that they're here. And then something just didn't feel right about her as an individual. But I felt it's because you haven't met women in the UK. So maybe this is their flavor. This is what they like, try and get used to it. And that's why it dragged on for as long as it was, because I was still trying to figure out whether it was a me or her problem.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so let's just go back to the beginning so that we kind of paint the picture. How did you meet? How did you meet eBay?
I was introduced to eBay by a very good friend of mine.
Okay.
A really good friend of mine said, hey, look, you're kind of fresh in this country.
Yeah.
Meeting people here is not as simple as it is back home. Because back home I could meet people at church, meet them at work, meet them in the neighborhood. There's a communal family feeling.
Yeah.
And it's just not here. This society is very individualistic. So she goes, hey, I got someone I want to introduce you to. Showed me a picture and I thought she was cute. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Let's do this. The introductions happened.
Yeah.
I spoke over the phone for a couple of weeks. She lived far away from where I was.
Okay.
And then eventually on WhatsApp, she then sent me a picture and she says, "Come, let's meet and connect. Let's meet in person." We met in person. I was like, "Yeah, nah, she's all right. I'll go for this." So I confirmed to my friend, "I think I'm interested. Let's make this happen." And that's how we became acquainted. I can't tell you when we became boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay.
Which explains why I always ask in every episode, at what point did you guys become an item?
Right.
That's a reflection of me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know when we became an item, which means I didn't know when to have an anniversary. So I've always guessed the number of years that we were together. I'm sure if you were to ask eBay the number of years we were together, she would tell you a totally different number to me.
Yeah. So do you think eBay thinks you were together?
The thing with eBay, she knew we were not together.
Okay.
Because she had another boyfriend.
Right. But if somebody said, "Is Lamin your ex-boyfriend?" do you think she would say yes?
It would depend on who she's talking to. If she is being asked that question by someone who knew her other boyfriend, she would say no.
Right.
Because then that way she doesn't come across as a two-timer.
Okay.
But then if she asks somebody who knows that I know nothing about the other dude, she'll say, "Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Lamin were an item. We were great. We were together." Because she knows that the person doesn't know the other side.
Okay, so you've already given us a preview that there was another boyfriend, right?
Yes,
there was a communal thing going on here, right? But before that, just like you say, she was cute. Obviously, this is the part where if Tinto were presenting this, it'd be like, "Jeez, get it,
Get in there,
get in there." But then, so what did you like about her? Like what was the fun in your guys sort of hanging out? Like, what was the good before we get to?
I think the thing that drew me to her the most was she sold me the idea that she was a grounded individual.
Right.
And I was coming from an environment where I was taught the importance of being grounded.
Yes.
So that was second nature for me to be drawn to somebody of that nature.
Yeah.
So she gave the impression that she was grounded when on the other hand, she actually wasn't. But this only came to light further down the line.
Yeah.
So one, I thought that was attractive. One, number two, she had a nice butt. Her butt was hella cute. Mud. Hey. She had a nice butt. She had a cute smile. She had lovely eyes. She had a weird sense of humor that took me a bit of time to get onto. Because remember, I was coming with the Zim humor.
Yeah.
Which is different to the humor here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you're in the office, right? If somebody cracks a joke, it's easy for you to say, "Okay, that is English humor."
Yes.
Which we don't quite connect with. So she had a peculiar sense of humor, which took me a bit of time to catch on to, but eventually I got it.
Yeah.
And because she had been here for a significantly longer period of time than I had, she knew a lot of things that were fun to do that I was still trying to explore. Yeah. So she was very outdoorsy, enjoyed music, enjoyed dancing, which are all the things that I also enjoy. So that was the fun part about us.
Okay, cool. So you guys are hanging out, she's showing you things, kind of showing you the ropes. So where was their turn, right? So how far into knowing, let's just say knowing her, because you say obviously you can't define when things kind of became official. How far into knowing her did things sort of take a turn, start the beginning of the end?
It was definitely around Valentine's Day. I remember we were in Canary Wharf. I had finished work. I used to work in Canary Wharf. I'd finished work. She came round.
Yeah.
We were hanging out. And then this was a few days before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And the text message came on her phone.
Yeah.
And I think she thought that she had the phone hidden in a way that I couldn't see. But by chance, I saw. And the message there was, "What are we doing for Valentine's?"
Oh,
right.
Okay.
And then she responded, "I will let you know."
Mm-hmm.
So because the name wasn't saved, and I caught the last few digits of the number, I remember they were 197. I said to myself, "Okay, that's a bit odd."
Yeah.
But I didn't know whether that was a sister, it was a cousin, it was a friend, it was a boyfriend. But the seed had been planted.
Yeah.
And I became suspicious of that. Turns out Valentine's then comes and she wasn't available on Valentine's Day to be with me. right? She had to be home with family doing some stuff, and she said she'll come and see me the next day and ask me, is that okay? If it's not, I'll just tell my family that, look, I need to spend time with Lamin, which played on my conscience, right? I mean, on my conscience.
Yeah.
And I said, look, family time, do you?
Yeah.
But I remember not sleeping properly that night because I kept thinking, I saw something relating to this. Anyway, the next day pops up. Yeah, she comes over, but then she comes at the tail end of the day, so around 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And then, we hung out, we had dinner, came home, chilled, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah. But the seed had already been planted.
Yeah.
But I ignored it for that period.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, there were certain conversations that would always happen in the kitchen if we were together. If we were sitting in the lounge, she would say, excuse me, I need to take this call. And it was always either the sister or the cousin.
Yeah.
Consistently the sister or the cousin who had met numerous times before. So I didn't get why it was so important to have a different separate conversation in a separate room.
Yeah.
But these conversations were never 5-minute conversations. They were 15, 20, half an hour. And every time she came from a conversation, she would either be ecstatic or she'd be very low. It was never in between.
Right. Okay.
So this fed again into the whole thing to say, look, I think there's something more at play here. But I didn't want to push because I had not been given a reason to be suspicious of all of this. I think the suspicions only really grew. I remember this one time that I needed to reach her, and I just couldn't reach her at all. And then I reached out to the mom, and I'm like, "Hey, where can I find eBay? I'm trying to get a hold of her." And she's like, "Oh, I've been trying to get a hold of her too. I don't know, but I can try." I tell you, it wasn't 45 seconds that after I finished that phone call with her mom that she called me. And she said, "Oh yeah, sorry, I wasn't available. My phone has been acting up and blah, 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 blah." Long story short, turns out mom knew exactly where she was, which was with this other dude. And she raised the alarm to say, "Yo, Lamin is looking for your ass. I think you need to respond to this call pretty quick because he needs something desperately."
Okay.
So,
but park that. Who does mom know you to be?
boyfriend.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you guys were serious? Like you mom, sister, cousin?
I don't know if it was serious or that was the impression that was being given because mom knew both me and the other guy.
I mean, in isolation though. Like, I mean, I guess now that we know that she knew both.
Yeah.
But I mean, in isolation, people don't tend to, introduce anybody to their mothers.
Yeah.
But okay, all I'm saying is you as Lamin, though, you would have got the impression that, this is solid.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
I was convinced it was solid. I didn't have any other reason apart from what I just started to describe to say this is a bit suspicious.
Yeah.
To think that this was solid. Because remember I told you she was a grounded character.
Yeah.
In air quotes. So because she was grounded, I was drawn to that and I wasn't really looking elsewhere and thinking to myself, okay, this is where I want to be and this is who I want to be with. Right.
Okay, so let's go back to when the mom raised the alarm, then you get a call.
Yeah.
So how did you start sort of let's introduce this new guy, like Amazon or whoever.
Absolutely brilliant. Okay, Amazon. Yeah, so Amazon's in the picture. Well, eventually I got what I needed. But long story short,
how did you find out?
This is the interesting part.
Right.
So there's a car that I didn't need to use.
Okay.
When I was in London the whole time, and I gave it to her to use. Right. And this particular day that I was looking for, I desperately needed the car because I needed to go elsewhere. So I just wanted to say, hey, let's link up, give me the car. I need to use it, then I'll give it back to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got the car back. I'm busy driving. I'm in a rush. I get to a roundabout.
Yeah.
And I'm approaching the roundabout too fast.
Yeah.
So I slam on the brakes. And as I do that, there's a pair of sunglasses that rolls out of the front seat, the passenger side. So I look at these sunglasses and I'm like, yo, I recognize these sunglasses, right? Mm-hmm. I've seen them on Amazon. But I can't really put two and two together, right? Because there was no reason to put 2 and 2 together. I was just like, these just look like Amazon sunglasses.
Yeah.
By chance, I had Amazon's number because he was part of a group of friends that I used to hang around with.
So how did you know Amazon?
Amazon, we knew from a very close group of people that we used to interact with. So you know how you can have a community of Southern Africans?
Yes.
So Amazon happened to be from a Southern African country. Right. And he happened to be in that community. Remember, I was fresh out of Zim.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who to connect with and who to be plugged with, apart from my friend who got us connected in the first instance.
Right.
And that's the same friend who said that there's a community of people from Zimbabwe, Malawi, etc., in the same group. So already I knew people in that group by virtue of being introduced to her. So I had Amazon's number from a few interactions within that group.
Yeah.
So without thinking much, but also a touch suspicious, I rang up Amazon. I was like, yo, fam, I think I've got your sunglasses in my car. And then he goes, no, I don't think so because I left them in eBay's car. I'm like, oh, describe eBay's car. And then Amazon describes eBay's car. And I'm like, bro, that is my car. Then he goes, no chance because eBay told me that her uncle left her that car when he went to Zim because he didn't need it anymore. And he just gave her as a gift because she was finishing uni and she needed a car. I was like, yo, fam, where are you? And then he told me where he was.
Yeah.
I hit a U-turn. Suddenly what was important to me to do on that day became less significant.
Yeah.
Did a U-turn, drove a good 2.5, almost 3 hours.
Right.
I arrived with the car and then his jaw is dropped. He's like, how do you have this car? And then I showed him the logbook. And then the penny started dropping. Now, if you listen to the 6 foot weight story, you will pick up that Lamin and I and eBay were not having sex, right? So the first thing I now wanted to find out was whether she was having sex with Amazon. So all I said to him was, bro, I don't need to go into the details. This is unnecessary. We know exactly what is going on. Please tell me you guys were using protection because we weren't. And his jaw just dropped. Then I knew that, oh shit. The whole time I've been going with no nookie, Mandem has been having all the nookie in the world.
The pain.
I can't even describe it to you. And what made it worse was when he's now started explaining how sometimes he would try and reach her, she wouldn't be available. He gives me a period, and I'm like, yo, that's when she was with me. And then I showed him texts when I'm saying, when am I picking you up? Yeah. And then I asked him a few times I couldn't reach her, and it's like, oh, same stuff.
Oh my.
Same stuff. But having said that, that's the first time that that I got a sense that, okay, women can do about as much as a man can do. Because we're both human, right? If a guy is going to cheat, what's stopping a woman from doing exactly the same, right? Because they're both humans. Yeah. Yeah, and in a nutshell, that was it.
So how does the story end? Like, how do you guys sort of break up?
So I described the bulk of it on 6 foot waist. But in a nutshell, from that day, that literally both of us got to her because we're like, okay, let's drive to where she is. Yeah. So we both drove. She wasn't expecting him. Was visibly shocked. She didn't say anything. Went into the house. And then from that day, we both basically said we didn't want to have anything to do with her. And yeah, that was it.
Lamin.
But I must say that this is a very, very, very shortened view. It's a very high level view of this. There's traces of what happened in 2 episodes I've shared on 6 foot waist. But yeah, that was it.
Oh man, the pain. You know what? In the words of Senna from 6 foot waist, women are not good people.
Men are equally bad people.
Men are really not good people.
Humans are just terrible creatures to deal with.
Yeah. Okay. No, thank you for sharing that story, Lamin. And as we've sort of alluded, there's more on 6 foot weights.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to listen to that, listen to it. But you know what? This is where because I knew that the filling station. I was like, no one just wakes up and says, I know before you told us, oh, there's a friend of mine who said I used to do this on Facebook. But I was like, nah. I was like, no, there is more to this, you know. So thank you so much. So the lesson from the story is, once a liar, always a liar. The other lesson that you didn't say that I picked up is don't judge a person by their butt.
Don't judge a person by their butt.
Because you said she had a nice butt.
Hey.
And as soon as you saw that, Sibella, you didn't. That was it for Tinto. Tinto signed on the dotted line. Like, he was like, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Oh, man.
So thank you. So everyone has a story. So guys, when Tinto is laughing, whatever, sometimes, you know, he's speaking from a place of knowledge.
And I can relate half the time to what is happening in that moment.
Exactly. So no, thank you so much, Tinto. Okay, so got some few minutes. So I just kind of wanted to, I was listening to an earlier episode that you did ages ago where people were kind of like sending you situations and kind of getting your take, right? So I just kind of wanted to do the same, you know, on here, right? So the first scenario is just a story that I've been sort of following. And, you know, some people listening may know of this or not, but it's not really important. The characters are not really important. So anyway, there's a guy called Tom Brady who's like a big NFL American football star. He's played for the Patriots and all that sort of stuff. He's married to Gisele Bündchen. Gisele Bündchen is like a supermodel. She had a big supermodel career, Brazilian woman. They got married some years back, power couple and all that sort of stuff. But then they got married, had kids, and then she's sort of, her career has taken a pause, right? Because they're raising kids, and Tom Brady's career is just going, you know, he's going to heights, winning Super Bowls and all that sort of stuff, right? And it appears that as a family, they had made an agreement that, okay, I'm gonna stay home, kind of pause my career for X years, right? And then afterwards, you will retire, and then you're at home more, which then allows me, Gisele, to progress mine, right? So Tom Brady has been deferring his retirement forever, right? He's been going, like, he's just been deferring it. And he's probably over 40 now, I believe, right? So he did retire at some point, stayed at home for 2 months and then went back and retired. But I don't really want to focus on Tom Brady, Gisele, because obviously there's stuff that we don't know. But I just thought it's probably relatable in relationship scenarios, right? Where, you know, as in a couple relationship, romantic relationship, like if you're a family, sacrifice is one of the things that has to happen, right? And there's probably scenarios where one person always feels like, oh, you know what, I have sacrificed, or maybe I sacrificed by moving to a different country so that, you know, I can go where my partner is working, but we had agreed that we will go back home or we will do this, right? So I just kind of wanted to get your view on this kind of scenario where it feels like one party has sacrificed, but then when it's now time for the other party to, you know, do their end and sacrifice as well, they are unwilling. And it can apply in all types of scenarios. This is about, you know, family, getting help with kids and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so if someone sort of came to you with that scenario about, okay, I have a partner whose ambition just seems to override everything and they're just not willing to sacrifice and give me the space. I love them, love my family, but I am also not fulfilled.
Oh, yes.
Over to you, Tinto.
This just takes me back to, excuse me for going biblical.
Yeah.
But then in the Bible, we know that, I don't remember who it was. Was it Abraham who was going to sacrifice his child?
Yeah.
Right? And what sacrifice there meant was that he was going to lose a son. Right? There's a way of looking at that. You could look at that as sacrifice or look at it as murder. I would consider that murder.
Yeah.
Right? He was going to totally kill his child for the benefit of him and what he believed in, which was God.
Yeah.
That's one view of sacrifice in quotes.
Yeah.
And then there's the sacrifice where if I have one slice of bread that is left between me and death, and I've got my son, I would rather not eat to make sure that he can survive. For me, that is sacrifice because you're making somebody else have a chance at living and doing well, which doesn't seem to be the scenario here.
Yeah.
So sacrifice to me could mean one of two things, either allowing somebody else to grow or to literally murder the other person. And for me, this situation sounds like the first one, where the person is thinking about is me.
Yeah.
To the point that he could actually murder and kill her desire and opportunity to be great. She's done her part.
Yeah.
Right? She's offered her slice of bread to him so that he can earn his income and make as much as he can, but he's not reciprocating. And the way that I see it, he's actually just going to, well, I shouldn't use murder. Murder is a strong word, but he's going to kill the relationship because she's not feeding on anything.
Yeah.
And if he continues, if he was, in retirement for 2 months?
Yeah.
God knows how long it's going to take to really retire.
Yeah.
He's going to say, okay, look, I need another 10 more years because after I turn 50, I'm not, I'm no longer as good. But what about her career? At whatever age that she is, we all become less marketable the older that we become.
Ooh, Tinto.
But no, we do though. You know, I'm 40 now and I keep looking at the clock. In 15 years, I'm now at retirement age. In 10 years, my CV is at the point where people will say, oh, but he's 50. You know, and I don't get as big opportunities as I used to back in the day. Investment bankers thrive when they're between the ages of 25 and 32, 33. Beyond that, they are no longer as desirable because they're not in it with the money like that.
Yeah.
So by the time I turn 50, I'm no longer desirable.
Yeah.
By the time she turns, whatever age she turns, she's no longer desirable. And he knows by the time he turns maybe 50, he's no longer desirable either.
Yeah.
So Mandem just needs to take her seat back. And, you know, she's done her part.
Yeah.
Let her feel fulfilled. If I was her and the guy continues like this, I would recommend she leaves him. Because that's what he is literally doing to them. He is killing her. He is killing them as a couple.
Yeah.
And I would say if I'm start dropping the message to say I'm out.
Yeah.
Unless you quit, I'm out.
Thank you for that, Tinto. Thank you for that. So guys, if you're listening, you know, what did is it Mariah Carey? Baby, if you give it to me, I'll give it to you. That's what you want. You know I got it, baby. If you give it to me, I give it to you.
And he's just not giving it to her. You know, so I think she has every right to start talking about leaving. Relationships should be selfless.
Yeah.
The moment they start being selfish, you feel undesired, unappreciated, unwanted.
Okay. No, I hear you. Okay, and then here's another one, right? Again, the characters don't really matter.
Yeah.
So there's a guy called Ime Udoku, who is a coach, right? A basketball coach.
Yeah.
He has a child and is engaged to Nia Long.
Oh yeah.
So it recently, and it seems like they've got a, seemingly good relationship. He's doing really well, like in his coaching, took his team to the NBA, whatever, Premier League. Sorry, guys. People who know, like, whatever, took the, whatever. So, Nia Long seems to be like in a happy relationship. I don't know if you remember Nia Long, from Love Jones and The Best Man and all that sort of stuff, right? So, Ime Udoku, right? He then, this is an assumption on my part. It's good relationship. She's moved to the city where he's working, whatever. Everything's going fine. But then it kind of comes out that he's been suspended from being a coach, but it comes out just because there seems to be a fraternization within the basketball team. So it's alleged that he's had an affair or affairs with people that work for the team. So someone who does events and stuff like that, right? So obviously it's now in the public. So everyone is kind of like coming out like, oh, not Nia Long. You know that thing, like, not our black queen, not Nia Long. You can't do that. Right?
As in, you can't cheat on our sister. You can't.
Okay, you know, like how people be like, oh, you can't cheat on Beyonce or you can't cheat on whatever. Which, an aside, I have an issue with that because y'all are saying people who are not beautiful should be cheated on. Like, I have a real issue with that. But anyway,
yes,
I digress. So, but in this situation, it's been reported that Nia Long is obviously very upset and all that sort of stuff. But no report about them breaking up, right? And this is now a wild creative assumption on my part that let's assume, and that's why I'm saying the character is not important because there'll be people in these scenarios where everything is good, man. The bills are paid. You know, the man is home. You know, he's there doing, football practice. Like all the needs are met, right? And then all of a sudden, someone just comes in, disturbs your reality and says, oh, by the way, when this man is not in the house between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. And it's like, so now it's the public thing of knowing, but the truth is, like, I'm good. Like, I'm 52 years old, however old she is, right? I don't have energy to be like going out in these streets like a bond. There is nothing in these streets. Like, the streets are a mess.
Yeah.
So in that sort of situation, right? But again, it's not to absolve the guy. He's wrong, right? I always think like cheating is abuse because you're manipulating somebody else's reality, right? Because if they believe that you're in a committed thing. But let's just say for the purpose of this, really she kind of is like, I'm cool, but now I'm dealing with the public shame. And that's the one thing. Because a lot of people, it's other people knowing. Yeah. That's the issue. What would your sort of advice be in that sort of...
For starters, I think, is it confirmed that he did this stuff, or this is an allegation? This is alleged. Are people saying allegedly he's been doing A, B, C, D?
It's something's happened.
Okay,
something in the water ain't clean.
So that means for me, my response to this, I'm working this off the basis of an allegation. So it's alleged.
It's true. No, something has. It's true. it's just that the names don't want. Yeah.
So something has happened, but the names aren't coming forward. Okay, fine. So he's cheated, right? Yes. And she seems to be cool with it, or I'm
assuming.
Assuming that she wants to go. Right. One thing comes to mind: love conquers all. Right? That's the one thing I'm thinking about. Love conquers all, because there's a lot of things to think about. The public will always give you a lot of pressure to do things that might be outside of what you want to do.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why I think it's a good idea to keep your private life private.
Okay.
Because then you don't have to deal with the public. But Nia Long, there's no way she's going to keep it private. She's a celebrity by nature. However, she needs to be clear what she wants out of everything.
Yeah.
And this is the whole thing about being intentional with stuff. If the reason why she got with him was to love and to hold through thick and thin.
Yeah.
This is that perfect time for that to be tested, because this is thick and thin. If you vowed to yourself that you would stand through thick and thin, and I guess the guy is genuinely remorseful, although I don't think there's a barometer to measure remorsefulness, to say that this is real or this is not real. He's got to be clear what he wants. If he wants her for who she is, he's got a lot of work to do. If he doesn't want her and is resolved within himself that he doesn't want her, which is why he stepped out in the first place, then he needs to let the lovely woman go. I think what needs to happen between these two is they need to have very honest conversations with themselves, not about what the other person wants, but what they want within themselves.
Yeah.
So I hope Nia is asking the questions, why do you do that?
Yeah.
And I hope she's getting real responses. If he did that because he just got tired and bored, he's going to get forgiven and he'll get tired and bored again.
Woo. Yeah.
If she decides to forgive him because she's worried about what the public is going to do and say, she's always going to live in the public's shadow and she'll never be happy. At some point, I think we all need to choose what makes us happy, but that doesn't happen unless we are very clear what we want for ourselves as individuals. So they both need to be, they owe it to each other to be open and honest to say, I want this, and respect what the other person wants.
Absolutely. I love that. And how I always think about things, which may be a bit morbid, is if this person were to die or if I were to die, what would I want? Like,
Ooh.
No regret.
Yo, that's morbid, fam.
But I think you should work backwards.
Yeah.
I think that's what life is.
Nice.
But lastly, to close off.
Yeah.
So thank you for the Filling Station, man. Like, it is such a great show.
You are welcome.
I think it's just so probably therapeutic to people that have come on it. Pause. I mean, I always admire their strength. And always think, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah. No,
So
it takes a lot because it requires you to be honest with yourself. And Nat, I can't tell you how difficult that is.
Yeah.
Because even as you were asking about eBay's story, I found myself on the verge of being deeply honest. But that honestly, if I'm to tell that whole story, it will take a solid 3 hours. If I'm to roll it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So yes, it takes a lot.
Yes.
And whoever has been on the podcast, I'm genuinely grateful for because they've laid themselves bare.
Yeah.
99% of them are honest.
Yeah.
They tell the truth. And then when we finish, they always say, man, I needed that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because, and thank you to everyone that's come on. And I think a lot of us can see ourselves. And sometimes you listen and it even helps you with things that you're dealing with at the moment. Because it's easy when you're listening, right? And you're able to be like, oh, girl, get out. Like, leave him or whatever. But when you are in the situation, it is a totally different ball game. So thank you to them. But just to close off, I just wanted to kind of ask from you, what are some of the greatest lessons that you've heard from the podcast? That sort of come to mind, that have stuck with you, that people have said, you know what, these are lessons that I want to share. And you'd be like, you know what?
I can only think of one because the red flags theme is a consistent theme.
Yeah.
The one thing that really, really, really hit home was the person who said, it's better to have loved and lost than not loved at all.
Oof.
That age, it hits me every single time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are scared to love because they say, hey, I will get hurt and I'll get burnt. So they don't get that feeling of what it's like to have butterflies in your stomach.
Yeah.
The feeling you get when you see somebody's number calling you, the text message to say good night, the text message to say good morning, the text message to say, how's your day?
Yeah.
And know that, damn, this person loves me. And then how that romance during the day can translate into a nice dinner, which translate into a nice evening and can translate into nice sex. And what I imagine missing out on all of that just because you're scared to love. What a damn shame. For me, that lesson, it's better to have loved and lost because then you got experiences you can relive and relive and relive.
Yeah.
And not loved at all. That is my number one lesson.
No, I love that because it takes because we kind of always hear the painful part and everything, but you know what? It's part of the human experience, right?
Boy.
I mean, love is just such a great thing, and you know what? I think that lesson sort of sums it up well. And it sums up, the feeling station and, people talking, and people shouldn't feel bad about things, quote unquote, not working out, because that is part of the human experience. We grow and we learn from it, and it makes us who we are.
And you know what's interesting about that as well? I love how you described it.
Yeah.
You can have a 15-year relationship where 13 of those years were absolute bliss.
Yes.
And it's the last 2 that really break it, because they could be the worst experience you have.
Yeah.
But you got 13 years of good, solid memories.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that? So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Tinto, thank you so much for letting me take over.
I'm chopping your head off as soon as we turn this thing off, This ambush, my guy.
Oh my God.
Thanks, Nat. Thank you so much. You've been incredible.
Thank you so much. So guys, my name's Natasha.
And my
people
name
call
is...
me... Yes!
You see, I was about to do your own thing. Go for it.
Hi, my name is Natasha.
And my name is Tinto.
And my friends call me Nat.
And my friends call me Tinto.
So yes, guys. So I've enjoyed putting Tinto on or in the hot seat. You guys are going to tell me which one is the correct term.
Yeah.
So like I said, my name is Nat. Sometimes you can find me on Get In Skies podcast or at Malaika Diva on Twitter. Thank you, Tinto.
You're welcome.
Tell me what you're feeling.
Satis andaro raini and chake zaini.
Tell me what you're feeling. Now that it's over.
Satis andaro raini and chake zaini.
Let me talk about my feelings. Let me talk about my feelings, yeah.
Urudoi motoru noto kujidziro amai.
Kujidziro amai. Love is a fire.
Urudoi motoru noto kujidziro amai.